And it's not hard to do it. Basically, like I said before, you go into any category, you can see exactly how many items, but always do the out of stock. This is so important. If you don't do that, you miss out on some absolute golden opportunities. I'm always at my staff. They continually don't click it, and we're at them all the time because we found some amazing opportunities by clicking this. Because for instance, this item, this could be selling like hotcakes, but the supplier runs out of stock. Now, if you don't click the out of stock function, you don't see it. So if you want to find a hot selling item, you want to know this item because it's sold, hundreds, thousands, it might have sold 100 a day. But if you don't click the out of stock button, you do not see it. All you see is the stuff that hasn't sold out. So you can then see how many items are in any category. And then you can go and see this particular item is number 1, so you can just simply do the maths, divide the sales rank of a listing by the number of products sold in any category. Bingo, there you got your answer for your top 5%. It's just simple maths. So if your product hasn't got a rank, find a similar product and use that for your ranking. So Amazon fees, asked about before, monthly fees $49 ex GST, so it does have GST on it, but if you're a business, you should be claiming that GST back. Your final value fee is 6% to 15%. There's a link here for all your fees, so just follow that link, it will show you all any other fees that there's. Same with FBA. Yep.
Per what? Per item?
No, the monthly fee is to open up your Amazon Seller Central account so you can sell one item, 1,000 items on.
$49 flat.
Flat.
Then
final value fee. And if you sell it in the FBA warehouse, then there's a whole lot of fees that go with that. But it is very competitive, especially when you start comparing it to things like having your own warehouse, then having your own staff, having all your utility bills, your superannuation, your security, all your outgoings, you name it. It's extremely competitive.
That's on the
on the FBA. No, the monthly fees are flat fee.
Yeah.
Now, if you're paying that monthly fee and you don't get your sales in the next 30 days, you can ring up Amazon. They'll very often reverse that fee for you. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but it happens most times. So, now when you've found your product, your next thing you want to do is go and find it. So you can either source it locally or preferably overseas. So we import from China, Malaysia, Vietnam. Now, don't get caught up in just buying from China thinking, oh, China's the cheapest place. It's not anymore. China imports more Lamborghinis, Ferraris and Maseratis than any other country, full stop. And that tells you a lot about it. You know, the cost of labour, like in Taiwan now, is $4.37 per hour, which compared to, say, Vietnam, is 59 cents per hour. So Vietnam is the new China, and it's much, much cheaper. Vietnam makes a lot of stuff. They make, the Honda, get their power generators made there. Canon get a lot of their printers made there. Malaysia, we get a lot of flat packs, so Malaysia, we get these sort of tables like that made. So don't just think China all the time, because China, the cost of labour just keeps going up and up, around about 10% every year. So Alibaba, you can go to here. Now Alibaba, a lot of people think Alibaba's in China. It's not the case. They're all over. You can find suppliers all over the planet. In fact, you can open up an account in Alibaba right now and supply from Australia. So you can sell back to places like China. If you've got access to Australian products, whether it's alpaca wool or honey or macadamia nuts or whatever it is, you've got access to it, then you can open an account and supply China, and there's a huge amount of money in selling stuff back to China from Australia. But that's another topic. But you can do that and you can buy stuff all over the planet.
I've seen that you can get like your own shipping places that advertise on Alibaba. There's sometimes the ones that you get a quote and it'll just be so expensive to get it shipped.
Yeah, shipping's a whole different topic. So we do a whole night just on shipping. Shipping is a big thing. It makes and breaks products. Yeah.
So we're moving on from Amazon.
No, I'm just talking about where to buy stuff to sell on Amazon.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
Do you have to be the manufacturer to sell on Alibaba?
No.
Because I tried and I got banned.
Banned? Why? What reason?
I tried to sell a certain product overseas. It was a type of metal, and they asked me to take pictures of my factory, etc. And I just took pictures of what I had, and then they said, no, that's not efficient. It was like out of like a dodgy a garage, so it wasn't really a factory at the time. But then when it came, they went bang, done.
It's unusual because many times, the majority of places you buy from Alibaba are not the manufacturers.
Yeah, I know. That's why I couldn't believe it, and I had to start it up a new.
Yeah, that's
to kind of like get around that.
I don't know. Yep.
Sourcing factories in Vietnam is Alibaba.
Yes, totally.
Software to use, or
Yep.
is there better?
We only use the only software we use to research is Alibaba, because for me Alibaba is the biggest. They're bigger than eBay and Amazon combined. And if a product is not on Alibaba, I'm scared. Why isn't it on the biggest platform? Have you been banned? I'm scared. So, but there's many other ones. There's DHgate, there's Global Sources, there's a whole stack of other ones you can use. We just prefer to use Alibaba.
That's where you do the private labeling from.
That's just where we source products from. So there's two ways of sourcing products. One, you type in the product here and just do a search using your typical conventional drilling down like Google. Or you click the blue button and get quotations, and you write down what you want and let suppliers come to you. There's two different ways of doing product research on there. So like it says here, Alibaba is bigger than eBay and Amazon combined. Owned by a guy called Jack Ma. It's a huge operation.
He's stepping down now.
Is he? He's stepping down? Oh. Didn't know that. There you go. Jack Ma stepping out. I think he's probably made enough money now. You just go.
Excuse me, when you
Yeah.
click on that get quotation button, will it say the country? Or how do you know which country?
Yeah, you can select what country, but you can select what country you want to get supply from. Because sometimes, if you've already got a lot of stuff coming from, say, China, you might want to get just from China because, cost of economics. If you've got a container coming from China, it's easy to pull everything together. So.
What's the advantage of using your Philippines procurement center?
It's cheaper labour costs. If you employ staff in Australia, it's going to cost me like $20 an hour, whereas if I get people in the Philippines, it's going to cost me $1 to $2 per hour.
And how do you manage the whole supply chain from your suppliers into...
Because they're virtual, so it makes no difference where they're located.
Also, they just do the labor, not the logistics.
They take over and run the computers in the warehouse. So in our warehouse for not for dropship. For dropshipping, they can do. You don't need people can be located anywhere. But for
So do you ship to Philippines and then
No.
from there? No.
no, nothing goes to the Philippines at all. So for dropshipping, as an example, the items sold and then they just order it from the supplier and the supplier ships it direct. Right. For physical product, it gets shipped to the warehouse, so whether it's our Australia operation in Sydney or Buffalo in the States or whatever.
I'm just going back to your comment of making sure you don't provide more information than necessary and how to use your Philippines procurement center. And then that means your suppliers don't know that actually you're going to sell their items in Australia.
Well, they don't know where our staff are located because we're just dealing by email. Or, with Alibaba, we use the Alibaba Messenger service, and they don't know. You could be in North Pole, you could be in Tasmania. They don't have a clue where you're located. It really makes no difference. All right. So, unproven product sourcing. So, if you're using unproven products, then you need to go to. It's normally best to do things like go to trade shows with the magazines. Now, if you're using proven products, you do not need to go to China. You don't need to go to trade shows because you know what you're going to sell, so all you got to do is go and source it, and you do that through Alibaba. So you don't need to jump on planes and fly around the world to all these places and go to all these events. Now, in saying that, I still do go to China a bit, but I only go there to negotiate terms or better terms. So a big majority of our suppliers, we don't pay anything for the products until the ship is floating out off Botany off Sydney, and then we pay for it because they won't do what we call a telex release. So we haven't paid for it, we've paid no deposit, but we've got good terms. So they build the products, they ship the product, and then even if the container arrives in Australia, we cannot pick it up from the docks because they have not done what's called a telex release. So we pay for it and then we get the telex release. So that's the reason I go to China, is to negotiate terms. I go there, drink beer, and eat chili crab, just so I can get better terms. because that's what it's all about. But if you're doing unproven products, then this is some great ways of finding unproven products. Catalogs from wholesalers, join trade associations like toy food associations, trade magazines. Just Google trade magazine plus your niche. So if you want to do, I don't know, crocheting, trade magazine plus crochet, trade shows local overseas, and there's some links to where you can find a whole stack of trade shows there. You can also go to places like the Canton Fair, which has got over 25,000 exhibitors, which is just ginormous. But again, you don't need to do this if you do proven items. You've only got to do it if you do unproven items. So now, you should never ever run out of products to research, because every one of your competitors, you can click on your competitor, like in Amazon, just like eBay. Here, this is the name of the competitor, Greenie. So you can go and look at their store. What else do they sell? Because the rule of business is 80-20. 80% of most businesses' turnover comes from only 20% of their products. So you can look at any business and find out what their top 20% is. So all you need to start is one competitor or one seller. Bingo, click on that. Now you go inside their business, you can see exactly what they're selling. And then you can go and see if there are any ideas there for inspiration. So you never ever run out of ideas.
But I guess you want to have, I guess your name wants, you don't want to limit yourself by what you call your name, your Amazon name, so them calling themselves Greenies, then they can sort of, they're limiting what they sell.
Yeah, but they can just go and look at their competitors who's selling other, treats for dogs or those kind of products, and they can just sell that.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of.
So you're either a Kmart or you're a niche. So what we prefer to do is we like to break our niches out and sell them off. So when we have a lot of things, like a lot of pet products, we'll break that out and we'll sell that niche off. Should someone else have a competitor question? Yeah.
When you're starting out, do you suggest that you get all the products of the same category, like cat products?
No, personally, I think it's better to sell anything and everything, because then you're not restricted.
Yeah.
Because then you can go and look at any other seller and say, pick out their top item, and then you don't say, oh no, it doesn't fit my niche. Oh no, it doesn't fit my niche. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, geez, that makes a lot of money. Oh, but it doesn't fit my niche. I hate doing that. I hate doing it because when we sell the businesses off, we have to sign a contract where we can't sell back into that business. We can't sell those products for maybe 2 years to 4 years. So for 2 to 4 years, that's what we're doing. Every time a product like that comes along, like this, damn, we can't sell it. As soon as our contract expired, bingo, we can come back in the market. So does someone else have a question on that? Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
What was the software that you mentioned you used to monitor stock from dropshipping sites?
Scarcity Manager. I didn't mention it, but that's what we use.
So to check, if you're looking for dynamic sites that are dynamically updated,
Yes.
use Scarcity Manager to monitor it.
Correct. And if they run out of stock, then it automatically makes your listings go to zero.
What do you mean by breaking off the niche?
So you can sell. There's a huge market out there for people who want to buy online businesses. So let's say you sell. You got your business, and you sell a lot of these type of products, like a lot of dog treats or pet products. You can take all those pet products out, start a new business, run it for a year, get some financials on it, and sell it. For 1 to 4 times its revenue, its profit.
So, but you need a different account, don't you?
Correct.
But you can't on Amazon.
You can if you can ask for approval
Oh, okay. Yeah.
if you have a good enough reason. All right, so proven products. If you sell proven products, trips to China, etc., are optional. All product research can be done from anywhere in the world, like we talked about with the Philippines, and always look at your products, your competitors. We've done that. Okay, so tips to ranking well on Amazon. Ranking is all, it's a whole night thing, so I'm just going to give a real short summary so we're not keeping everyone here all night. This is the rule of 7. So just like eBay, optimizations is the process, the foremost process to get your items listed high in the search results. The big thing everyone does, over 90% of sellers guess it. The biggest thing is don't guess, always use data. Because ours is all done by VAs, if a VA can guess, there's a greater than 50% chance they'll screw it up. So there is no guessing. All our boxes are yes, no boxes. There's no but box. They try to draw the but box all the time, and we erase it. It's yes or no. Sorry?
What's a VA?
Virtual assistant.
So how do you use virtual assistant?
Sorry?
How do you use the virtual assistant?
How do we, what, sorry?
How do you use the VA?
To do all the tasks. So every task, basically a VA enables you to buy an hour of life. So every task that you do, if you can get rid of it, you can pay someone $1 to $2 an hour, and you've got yourself a whole hour of life. So every task that you do, you just try and get someone else to do it for you. That's the way VAs, that's the way to leverage your time. If you want to take yourself from a 6, 7, 8 digit business, you must leverage your time. It's one of the biggest things that restricts people's growth.
That's what you're doing in the Philippines.
Yeah. We, like the Filipinos, not all our staff's in the Philippines. We've got graphic designers in other countries and programmers in India, etc. But our main staff is in the Philippines. So don't guess. Over 90% of sellers use best guess marketing strategies. So image optimization, show the product being used. Turn it on. Everyone wants to see products turned on. Have a picture of the product packaging. The crazy thing, product packaging, we've split tested this a gazillion times. If you sell your iPhone, you'll get more money for it if you sell it with a box. Which, if you think about it, is crazy, because what's the use of a box? You shove it in the cupboard and it collects dust, but you'll get more money for it. It's the same with everything else. If you sell it with boxes, you get more money. Include photos that show the size of the product. Show the product from all different angles is really important. So if you're selling this, front shot, back shot, every single question that someone's got, it'll answer those questions. It means they won't have to go to your competitor to get the answer to the question. Yep.
But you need a white background, so what if you've got like a white product? Like white t-shirts, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a plain white t-shirt.
Yeah.
I guess you're going to have to put it on a model or something. Or have
A shadow.
background?
Normally a shadow. Yeah, it's a very valid question, and we sell white tables, and it's always so yeah, just shadowing.
Stop selling cocaine.
Yeah. There's this sun bouncing off this building right on my face. Okay, so power the item up is a big thing. A lot of people don't do this. If it's got an LCD display, people want to see the thing going. So Amazon images, at least 1001 pixels minimum. Color photo, pure white background, 85% of the image area. We've split tested this a heap of times. You must fill it here. What a lot of people do, especially on eBay, is they put the graffiti all around it, Australia flag, all that kind of stuff, which is great because it improves your click-through rate, but they compromise and put the little picture here. But then they'll go and find someone else who's got no graffiti, but it's got a stonking big photo, and they'll get more clicks. So it's a balance, yep.
So do you take the pictures yourself, or is it something that's supplied from the manufacturer?
If you're drop shipping, you tend to take no photos. You tend to use the ones from your suppliers. If you're importing, you tend to take your own photos. If you're drop shipping, flip the photos so people can't rip you off and find out where your stuff
And
comes
those
from.
photos will comply with the pixel.
Well, if they don't, you got to redo them.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you say flip, what does that mean? I asked my cousin who's a computer whiz, and she didn't know what it was. Can you explain that a little bit more?
She might have been too old. A computer whiz is generally before 10 years of age. They might have been too old. Well, there you go. Flipping image means if someone looking left, they now look right.
Okay. Like a mirror model.
It's a mirror model.
Yeah.
There's a lot of software, there's a lot of free software there, like Flip an Image, which is free. If you Google, there's a lot of free software out there that can do it. Plus you can now use programs like Photoshop, GIMP, Picasso, there's a whole stack of them you can use it. So no graffiti. So graffiti, for those who don't know, is like you write down, this is great, here's your logo, Australia flag, at the top bullet points about the product. You can't do any of that with Amazon. Your product title, keep it around 80 characters. Like I mentioned before, you can blow it out over 200, but it just confuses the search engine. You put down the brand, the model number, model name, all that kind of information that everyone's searching for in your title. Very important. I mentioned earlier on that about 5% or less than 5% of people leave feedback. This is a tool we've been using for many years, increases the feedback. So it prompts people to leave feedback. It's a very, very, very handy tool, and this is the way you can dramatically increase your feedback, because if you've got more feedback than your competitor, all things equal, you rank higher. So feedback is very, very important. Fill out all the relevant categories. Avoid duplicate content, of course. We're talking about private labeling so no one can copy you. So here's a summary. The headline for your product, a set of 5 bullet points, A paragraph of sales copy. Now, don't forget these slides are available, so you guys don't have to write everything down. A paragraph of sales copy to go into the description. We talked about that. At least one product photo, preferably at least 5 photos. The weight, dimensions of it, keywords, a SKU code. Then with Amazon, everything must have a barcode. Unlike eBay, on Amazon, everything has to have a barcode. Now, if you've got a product you've put a lot of effort into and you've private labeled everything else, you might want to get yourself a proper GS1 barcode. Otherwise, on eBay, you can get 2,000 barcodes for $20 at the moment. So that's a cheap way of buying barcodes. But the thing with those barcodes, they weren't first registered to you, they were registered to someone else who bought them. Whereas the proper GS1 is registered to you. Okay, so also Barcodes Australia, they got them for $3.60. So, summary, vital information, variations, your offer. You can do multi-variations listings, by the way, on Amazon. What your offer is your price, your images, your description, keywords. Those are the 7 things that you need to make sure you do at every single listing on Amazon. And if you find, and you'll find many listings don't have all this information, which is golden. That means you can just do a better job. Tools. Keeper is one of the ones we use in the US. Again, it doesn't work in Australia. I did another screenshot only a couple of days ago. Still is not Australia yet. It's another Chrome extension which keeps track of price history and sales rank. I'm giving you these URLs. Just keep an eye on them. Who knows? Any day they might start working as we get more data in Australia. Camel is another one that we use. This one alerts us to Amazon price drops. It also gives us nice charts so we can see the charts over time. Unusual name, but it works very well. The FBA toolkit we don't use. This is quite popular. The reason we don't use it is because we discovered many of our products weren't on it. They didn't show. So for that reason we stopped using it. But a lot of people have a lot of great success and love it. So don't just take my word for it. We just found products, our data wasn't there. So you can get lists of products in any category sorted by sales rank. And not every product, as I talked about, is not there. So again, don't bother with any products that have got greater than 500 reviews. It's just not worth it. You can also use the Google Ad Planner, which is the Google keyword tool, which is free to use. A lot of people balk at this because when they go and sign up for it, because you have to sign up for it, they think it's going to cost them money, and it doesn't cost them money. It just asks you a lot of questions. But Google knows everything about you. Google knows you're here tonight, so you're not giving any new information. It's free. And you can then go to the Google Ad Planner, which is a keyword tool. You can type best, heart rate monitor, and it'll tell you all the other popular things that people have searched for. You can also put heart rate monitor reviews, and it'll show you all the popular other words that people have put in there, or whatever it is. It's a great free tool, and it's straight from the horse's mouth, of course, Google. You can also use Merchant Words, which does the same thing but designed specifically and only for Amazon. Merchant Words, you can put in, again, you can use it to populate your title, to give you the top keywords. You can also use it to find, again, more popular things. So you can put, heart rate monitor, and it'll show you all the top brands that people type in. Great way of finding more products. And here, as it shows here, it is available in AU. This one does actually work in Australia. The Keyword Tool Dominator is another great tool. We've used that one for the Amazon keyword tool. Oh yeah, but you must put the out of stock function on this one, otherwise you don't see the best stuff. So you can search a single word and get back most popular phrases. For instance, I put the word pet and it came back and gave me pet carrier. But it's so critical you put this out of stock, otherwise you don't see this stuff that just sold out like hotcakes and gone. And of course you can do this for free with eBay Auto Suggestion Tool. The eBay Auto Suggestion Tool is just the search box on eBay. So if you type in the word pet on eBay, it'll auto-populate and show you 10 other suggestions that it suggests. And the Google Auto Suggestion Tool will do the same thing. So you can go to Google, type in pet, it'll show you. Now the Amazon search engine doesn't do that. It doesn't auto-suggest many things. Sometimes it does for certain categories, but not for everything. You can also use the eBay Most Watched Items tool to find top items for Amazon. So Watch Count. Watch Count's a free program. It shows the most watched items on eBay. The most watched items generally get the most sales. So a huge correlation between most watched and most sales. So you can go to Watch Count, find the most watched anything in any category, and then you can use that same data for eBay. So again, I'm just trying to show you some other ways that we get our data rather than just use the most popular tools. Because if you just go and do whatever Manny's dog does, you find you get the same result as everybody else. So your search sellers, best-selling items we talked about. Google Trends shows you. A lot of people say, well, how do I know this program is going to be any good? Now, we want to have items that have a nice flat line, preferably a slight uptick. But anything that's got a big spike, the bigger the party, the bigger the hangover. So iPhone 7 cases, of course, ching. Then iPhone X comes out, ching. So, you know, obviously Easter Bunny is the same thing. Other tools are, these ones again don't work in Australia, but they just keep an eye on them. Rev Seller is an awesome one, we use that one a lot. That shows us our sales rank, category and profitability. There's a lot of doubling up though with these programs. You don't need them all, you can just use one. Like eGrow in Australia works really well. It might be all you ever need. I'm always just, you know, I do subscribe to a lot of people would say too many of them, because we're always just trying to work out, will this do a better job than the previous one? What's good about this product? So I'm always trying to stay on the cutting edge of what's good, but you don't, that's my reasoning for signing up for them all, but you don't have to. All good? Yep.
I guess I'm at the product research phase. From what I'm hearing, it's probably a good idea just to maybe have a crack at it as opposed to finding that perfect product.
Definitely.
I mean,
there is no perfect product.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that. Perfection is what holds most people back. If you want to take a lesson from Reid Hoffman, who started LinkedIn, his famous quote was, if you're not totally, something like devastated with your first attempt, you've launched too late. And that's from Reid Hoffman, who started LinkedIn. So there's no perfect product, and that if you do the maths on it, if it's 80% good enough, if you do the maths, you'll over 10x your output. If you go for 100%, you'll never get there, because nothing's ever 100% good enough. Perfection is one of those. You can either have perfection or profit. It's one or the other. Okay, so and that's just saying you don't have to get it right, just get it going, which kind of sums that question up. And also, done is much better than perfect. So it's all baby steps. So that wraps it up for tonight. Thank you. The slides will be available for 24 hours from our address, and thanks for coming. Thank you. Thank you.